And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, a real estate and finance expert, and goes to bat for you every day as your consumer advocate. Your host, Brandon Rhymes.
Yes, here we are again another day, committed to picking a fight with the mainstream media and providing you the timely truth centered around real estate, credit, finance, personal injury law, success strategies, and so much more. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show, where our number one goals are to educate, entertain, enlighten, but most importantly, we want to engage you in an effort to help you win in any marketplace.
The only thing I'm addicted to right now is winning.
Now I want you to pull out your smartphone, save our Consumer Advocate hotline number in your phone. At some point, you're going to need it. 813-917-1894.
You used to call me on my cell phone.
813-917-1894. Now, you can text or call that number, 917-1894. Also, our website, consumerqb.com. A plethora of information, our blog site, links to all of our real estate listings with Platinum MVP Realty. Over 80-plus expert contributors and show partners at consumerqb.com. You can find all their contact information there. The finest folks in all of Tampa Bay and the Gulf Coast region that we've assembled and we've vetted to help you win. We don't care if you're climbing a corporate ladder or if you throw a ladder in your truck on the way to work. This show's for you. We're going to help you win. All-star lineup today. Back in studio, my friend Jarek Robbins. Welcome in, sir.
Thank you, sir, for having me back. Good to be here.
Absolutely, man. A lot of good stuff happening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Talk about performance for entrepreneurs. See what we can do to up their game and get them performing at even more proficiency.
I love it. I love it. I love that. Also, personal injury attorney Chelsea Lamy in studio. Personal injury attorney, welcome in.
Hey, thanks, Brandon. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we've got a great backstory there, very motivational story as well. We're going to talk about that. And we've got the top 10 ways to get motivated according to Belief.net. BeliefNet.com, actually, and it's we're going to jump into that as well, and some great content lined up for you. Got to plug our sponsors, Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora in beautiful St. Pete Beach. It's the first new hotel built on St. Pete Beach in decades. Spanish ancestry meets cool Mediterranean attitude. Whitewashed Mediterranean palace with expansive luxury suites overlooking the Intercoastal Waterway, as well as rooftop yoga on Wednesday night. Shout out to Gary Gilkey. He has his trivia night there Wednesday nights, and also the Castile restaurant as well. Great. And if you're a boater like me, you pulled your boat up, you hang out by the pool and hot tub, and let them know the quarterback sent you. You're going to get a 20% discount off of your stay for a local staycation. To just let them know the REQB sent you. And Kipton's, the Hotel Zamora in St. Pete Beach. We're also hosting a business seminar there Friday the 24th coming up. 3 to 5:30 p.m., pure content helping you win. Digital marketing, business growth, strategies. We're going to have a business coach there, action coach, and also at 5:30, we're going to go up to the rooftop and have some cervezas, maybe a little bit of wine, and an open networking. So please come out and join us for this event. We're expecting 100, 150 people here at this beautiful event. The Hotel Zamora, great location for it, and it's all about investing back in your business and working on your business rather than in your business. So we're here live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. now. Your prime time, drive time, syndicated. Also have a weekend show as well on an FM station. And let's jump right into this great content. Jarek Robbins, thanks for coming back in, man, and being a force for good out there in the community.
Absolutely. Great to be here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. So, we look at this world that we live in today. There's so much opportunity. You can make so much money. You can be successful in so many different ways. Sure. And I think what happens is people get distracted. You got the 24/7 mainstream media, the nauseating cycle, especially when you're in an election year. You got the tickers at the bottom of the screen. It's like our eyes are drawn to those. If we're out to dinner, almost any room you go in now, you've got a TV in the room, you've got smartphones in your hand. What's a top tip that people can do to stay focused, to stay motivated, to live a better life?
Sure, great question. So the biggest piece is you're talking about the fact that we lack mental clarity, meaning our mind is getting consumed or hijacked by everything around us, whether it's emails coming in, messages coming in, friends talking to you, your community, the television, the news, everything that's going on in your world. And for a lot of people, this is constantly circulating in their head again and again and again and again and again, which is keeping them from actually, really, truly being their best self and getting the most out of the moment. And so we're talking about a lack of presence.
Right.
And if you want to increase your performance, you got to increase your presence. You have to increase your mindfulness, as we call it.
Mindfulness.
And there's so many ways to get there. There's ways like meditation, which we talked about previously.
Yep.
And with meditation, a lot of people will tell me, specifically entrepreneurs, they'll say, hey, that sounds nice, but I'm not good at sitting still and being quiet. When I sit still and I try to be quiet, my mind has a conversation with itself.
Difficult.
And it starts talking to itself. And it's like, did I do that last week? What did she say? What did he say? Am I right? and your sitting silence turns into a tornado of thoughts that goes on for 20 minutes. And then you say, okay, great, check, meditation, done. And that didn't help anybody, including yourself.
Yeah.
So one thing, for people who are entrepreneurs, intelligent people who want actual metrics, is a big thing I do with all of our clients. I want to show them something's working. And one thing we talked about before was the little headset called Choose Muse.
Yep.
You slap it on your head. I should have brought it with me. And it actually shows you your a simple EEG, so simple brainwave scan,
Wow.
as well as your heart rate. And it shows you how well you were able to quiet your mind and keep it with as little thoughts as possible for a set period of time. And you get actual feedback. I have it on my phone. I could possibly show you afterwards, where literally it shows you, like when you have a thought, there's a huge spike on the screen. And when there's no thoughts, there's a little rhythm at the
Wow.
bottom. And it gives you feedback auditorily. And so it tells you, like, when you're doing really well, you get this amazing feedback where you hear the serene sounds with little birds chirping, and it tells you you're doing well.
Nice.
When you start to get thoughts, you hear thunderstorms and lightning and craziness going on. So you realize, hey, I have thoughts. It's a reminder. I need to calm my mind.
Right.
And what's interesting, I started using it with a client here locally who's in Florida.
Yep.
He owns a bunch of cemeteries, and his mind was everywhere. And he kept getting recommended to meditate. He's like, dude, I'm not a meditator. Ain't going to work. I need something else.
Yeah.
I said, okay, try this. So we got him to try it.
Yeah.
What's interesting, it got him off medication that he was using for depression.
Wow.
It got him off the inability to sleep soundly, so it got him to sleep soundly every night.
Right.
And he was using another device to track his breath rhythm all day between tense, stressed, or focused, and he massively reduced the tension and the stress in his life literally within 7 days.
Wow, that's awesome. Because it really is true. What we measure, we have accountability for,
Yep.
and then we can make changes and we can see the improvements.
And in the past, in order to get an EEG scan, you'd have to go to a doctor. If you have certain medical, insurance, you'd have to get a note to prescribe you to go to a different doctor, to see a specialist, to hook you up to a $50,000 machine
Yeah.
to see how well your brain's working. And you can't use it every day to meditate and see if you're doing it right. This one's only a couple $100. It's a team up in Toronto, Canada. I'm not affiliated with them. I just
Right.
love them.
Right.
And it's choosemuse.com, and it's amazing because it gives you actual feedback that would have cost $50,000, $100,000, $10,000 to get access to in the past. Now you can have it, use it at home with an app on your phone, and literally you can see your actual performance, and you can help improve it. And here's what I found. We just did this amazing trip with my wife, took her to the Bahamas, rented this beautiful house, took her to see the swimming pig. She was out of her mind. Pigs are her favorite animals.
Okay.
And so we were down there having fun. And when I got back, though, last night, I had 1,000,001 things going on in my head.
Right.
Because the week, business, we have 3 projects. We have a new book we're writing. We have a new program we're working on in Udemy, specifically on this type of material for entrepreneurs. So we have lots of stuff going on. They have 15 million students that we're going to be able to offer this product to. So
Wow.
huge projects, huge things going on, which are very exciting. And I'm thinking about all of them at once,
Yeah.
including how to be there for my wife, how to stay present without letting my mind wander, so I'm there for the person who I love the most on the planet.
Yep.
And all this is going on, and I tried to meditate, and I got a 39% last night.
So that's
horrible.
That's a bad score.
That's horrible. That's failing. I was like, oh, shoot. But it gave me feedback that up here,
Right.
I was all over the place.
Right.
So I said, okay, I'm going to do some breathing exercises, which I give you a simple way to do it right now. Anyone who's listening, if you need to reset your nervous system, just 3 deep breaths. You take it in, and so you breathe in. At the very top, breathe in a little bit more. Hold it for 4 seconds, and then drop your body and all the breath out at once. So
Okay.
it doesn't look very romantic or anything, but try it again. So breathe in. Very top, a little bit more. Hold it. Drop it all out in one breath. One last time. A little bit more. Hold it. All the way out. And what's interesting, a friend of mine who
Yeah.
studied the breath for 30 years found that resets your nervous system almost instantaneously.
Wow, I can feel that.
Here's what's wild. If that happened to not work for some reason, you can do 1 minute of something called box breathing with a friend of mine, Mark Devine, who's an ex-Navy SEAL, finished top of his class, #1 in BUDS training, which is how they get him into SEALs. And he figured out when you're going through immensely stressful, crazy situations, you're hijacked mentally. You kick in the fight or flight. You're no longer responding. You're just reacting to the situation biologically.
What is that one called?
This one's called box breathing.
Box breathing.
So
Let's save that one for after the break. We're coming into a hard break. Jarek Robbins here in studio, and performance coach and keynote speaker, author, and also Chelsea Lemmy as well. Personal injury trial attorney here in Tampa Bay, part of our consumer advocate platform, helping people win, helping you with your decisions, avoiding commission-based advice, helping you win, make smart moves out there, and understanding where the market is, kind of giving that helicopter view of the marketplace in over 80 categories of business consumer advocacy on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Shout out to Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Say hello to Hannah and her team over at Smart Move Moving and Storage, the official moving partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Come with us right after the break. We're going to jump into some more great content. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, the Quarterback Show. Platinum MVP Realty and a top listing agent in Tampa Bay. Featured in Florida Realtor Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, Business Journal, and others, recognized for innovation with marketing, helping our sellers profit more on the sale of a real estate property. Got a hot listing here in Seminole Boulevard. Attention developers, builders, anyone out there looking to invest in Tampa Bay. 1401 Seminole Boulevard in Largo. This is a prime development opportunity. It's 0.82 acres here with 200 feet of frontage along the city of Largo. Great buying opportunity here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, we're back here in studio live from iHeartRadio, beautiful South Tampa, Florida. We're giving a big shout out to Hula Bay. It's our official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Hula Bay, waterfront ambiance, excellent food, wonderful sushi right here in South Tampa, 5210 South Tyson Avenue there, and it's a great opportunity. Go say hello to Mike Finnegan. Let him know the real estate quarterback sent you for a free water with lemon. He's going to hook you up every time. So our little joke, we have a little fun with you here. And we're in studio. We got Jarek Robbins. He's a performance coach, keynote speaker, and author, and also in studio as well, personal injury attorney, Chelsea Lemie, personal injury and trial attorney in here in Tampa Bay. So right before the break, we're talking with Jarek. We're getting into the next breathing technique. By the way, that first technique was awesome. I could just feel the stress, and it reminds me a lot of yoga when you're going through some of the yoga, and they do that something similar to where you release the breath. So so we're talking about ways that as an entrepreneur, a business owner, we're all experiencing this heightened level of stress, and sometimes anxiety comes along with that. But there's ways that you can combat that, and Jarek Robbins is the right person to talk to about this.
Absolutely. So the first way is just taking those 3 deep breaths, and just the key with it is when you're all the way full, hold it for 4 seconds, and then open your mouth and drop all the air out at once, and let your body sink with it.
Yes.
And it just resets your nervous system almost immediately. The next one, you can do 1 minute, just put 60 seconds on a timer and watch it, and it's just box breathing. You do 4 seconds in through your nose, hold it for 4 seconds, then you breathe out for 4 seconds through your mouth, hold it out for 4 seconds, and repeat the pattern for a minute.
Nice.
And doing a minute of box breathing, literally, again, will recenter your mind, de-stress your body. Here's the other things you can do. I forget what it's called. It's like a progressive muscle something relaxation technique. Basically, if you tense, try this. So tense your toes, your legs, your ankles, your body, everything. Tense every part of your body as tight as you possibly can. And hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Release it all at once. Wow. And so it's interesting, as silly as that is, you see little kids do this when they throw a tantrum. They're like, yeah. And then they release. And they feel a little better afterwards. And again, there's a technical term that I'm not it's like progressive something muscle release something.
Neuro, probably.
Yeah, it's very technical and amazing, but it works.
My 3-year-old knows how to do it.
Exactly. All little kids know how to do this. And if you do that, those 3 things, very simple, very easy. One takes a minute, which is the longest. The other one takes, literally 3 deep breaths and a drop. And the last one just takes a few seconds to hold it for like 10 seconds and release.
Wow.
All 3 of those will immediately start to relax your nervous system, because most people try to relax themselves by telling themselves, relax, relax, relax.
Right.
That tends to stress people out because they're focused on not being relaxed.
Right.
Here's something else. Comes from a friend of mine who runs a neuroscience lab over at Stanford. The next piece is, let's say you're working on a creative project. You're trying to come up with new ideas to grow your business, grow your life, help your family, whatever, something creative. And most of us, we tell ourselves, okay, be creative, be creative, be creative. We get really focused. So we're saying, I'm going to go meditate for 10 minutes and focus on being creative so I can come back and be super creative. The problem is you're causing your mind to narrow its focus instead of widen its focus. So a simple tip from my friend over at Stanford at Neuroscience, Dr. Andrew, he says, go to a window, stare at the horizon line, or whatever version of that you get out of your window.
Right. Yeah.
Stare at the horizon line and defocus your eyes for 3 minutes. Stand there for 3 minutes with your eyes completely defocused. What does that mean? Instead of laser focusing on one thing you can see how many things you can try to bring into your vision way out in the distance. So
kind of like those little
the dinosaur
the
photos.
little things you used to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. So defocus your eyes, like that little book where you can see the dinosaur, the hidden message behind it. Defocus your eyes for 3 minutes.
Yep.
Then come back and watch what happens. And what he's figured out in the neuroscience lab, watching people's brains, is when you defocus your eyes for 3 minutes, it starts to A, relieve all the stress.
Wow.
B, it allows your brain to tap into the creativity sides of your brain instead of the focus sides of your brain. Now you'll be able to generate way more ideas.
Wow.
So with people trying to increase performance, specifically entrepreneurs needing to come up with a new marketing idea, new business sales strategy, a new way to tackle a big challenge they're facing, spend 3 minutes defocusing your eyes out the window at the horizon line. Come back, you'll be way more creative.
Yeah, it's interesting, and we can measure all that. That's what's crazy about 2017. We're living in this awesome economy, this the greatest city, in my opinion, and the greatest country on the planet, and we've got all the technology. We can measure this. So the idea, I guess, was just to get it out to the masses more. And if you just joined us, I'm your host, Brandon Rice. We're talking with Jarek Robbins here in studio. We're talking about ways that you can live a better life, ways that you can overcome stress, and specifically for entrepreneurs, business owners, it's a way that you can have more calming, in your life and slow down and go against the negative that you have so much in the news and the media. So. Yeah, great point.
The tricky part is most people are trying to increase performance, not realizing they're dragging anchors in the sand behind them as they're trying to go forward. And the anchors are stress and the basics of all performance, which I'll throw this out there for them to think about. If we were in a wartime, which some parts of the world we are, if you were captured by the enemy, what's the first 3 things they take away from you?
Food, water.
Freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
So they lock you in a cell, which I don't know of any facilities that have like a gym 3 cells down. Like, hey guys, I'm going to go get a quick workout in.
Yeah.
Just do 5 miles on the treadmill and like lift some weights. No problem. Just have the guard move me down. I don't know that exists.
Yeah.
The other one, they don't feed you a whole lot.
Yeah.
You don't get like 5-star Michelin chef meals.
Right.
They give you like a bowl of soup or some bread or something reasonable, but
Yep.
not a full, hearty, healthy meal that's keeping you your strongest self.
Right.
And there's a reason for this stuff. They don't want you fully fueled up physically. They don't want you pumped up and energized that if the moment occurs, you can run out and be your best self.
Right.
The final thing, if they really want to mess with you, they don't let you sleep.
Yeah.
They take away your sleep, your nutrition, and your movement, and they call this torture.
Wow.
Now, what happens when you open your own business?
Yeah. Very similar correlation there.
Yeah. We don't sleep.
Mm-hmm.
You don't eat at the right time or the right fuel or the right meals. And you don't move a whole lot because you're stuck inside working all the time.
Yeah.
We would call this torture
Yeah.
if someone else did it to you. But you do it to yourself, and you call it being an entrepreneur and working hard. The
Wow.
grind, man.
Great.
The problem
analogy.
is
Yeah.
it breaks you down just like it does any soldier who's caught and put through that process.
Yeah.
Breaks you down mentally, breaks you down emotionally, breaks you down physically, breaks your spirit.
Yep.
That's what it's meant to do. And it breaks your spirit to the point you're not going to go thrive. And you're certainly not going to be your best self.
Right.
3 basic areas to start. You got to learn how to fuel yourself properly.
Yep.
Now, I can't tell people eat this at this time on this day, but there's lots of people who can.
Right.
And based on your outcome, are you eating for performance? Are you eating to, lose fat and gain muscle? Are you eating for longevity and health?
Right.
There's different meal plans. I work with entrepreneurs who always tell me I want to look like Arnold, run the Iron Man, and live till 100.
Yeah.
I'm like, those are 3 different plans, and you got to know which plan you're following. You got to stick to it. Second, according to science, Harvard Research, Sleep Lab, you got to sleep at least 7.5 to 8 hours a night, period. Absolute minimum. There's
Yep.
no other reason beyond that.
Yep.
The best athletes in the world, Serena Williams, Usain Bolt, Michael Phelps, these guys sleep 9 to 12 hours a night.
Wow.
Now, I know there's a few people who smoke a little too much of the wrong stuff who are like, I knew 12 hours was the goal. No, that's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about people who work hard, who focus, who drive themselves, who do
Right.
massive work up here psychologically and physically every day. You need to regenerate and recuperate with that 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep minimum, no matter what.
Yep.
The final piece is movement.
Right.
There's absolutely zero reason whatsoever, even if you work at your desk. I have a Fitbit. We
Yep.
measure this stuff constantly, and there is
Yep.
a lady who has a 9-to-5 job. Her name is Emily. Emily, I'm coming for you. Who sneaks in like 100,000 steps a week.
Wow.
She does on average like 20,000 steps a day. That's like 10 miles a day.
Wow.
And she works a 9-to-5 job, and she does it just taking her dog for a walk before, in the middle, and after work.
Wow.
So there's no excuse. If she can do it,
Definitely not.
I struggle keeping up with frickin' Emily. But I do the 10,000 steps a day, which is 5 miles a day. According to research, average person, hunter-gatherer days, we used to walk 13 miles a day on average.
Wow.
Right now, most people barely get in a mile.
And a lot of times they're going to blame it on, well, I'm traveling, I'm going to this hotel to hotel. Well, hey, drop down, do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, do some crunches.
So most hotels have gyms. For the ones who don't, which
Exactly.
I have been in this random hotel in the middle of Ireland with no frickin' gym, and it was snowing and icy outside. I
Yeah.
put on 4 layers of clothes, and I did laps around the parking lot until I got my 10,000 steps.
Nice.
Most gyms have facilities, though. You can easily make it downstairs and do that. If not, airports.
Yep.
Pace back and forth. You have an hour layover. In an hour, you can easily get a mile worth of steps back and forth in front of that gate.
That's a great point. Absolutely. Jarek Robbins on fire here on the Quarterback Show. Great energy. And we're helping you win as a business owner out there, helping you understand your psychology to success here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. It's all about discipline, self-discipline, what the late, great Jim Rohn used to call self-discipline, the ability to make yourself do what you should do, whether you feel like it or not. A lot of times people let their feelings get in the way. It's unfortunate is the feelings get in the way. I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing that. And they get caught up on what Brian Tracy talks is the someday I'll. Someday I'll buy the Fitbit. Someday I'll go and do those 10,000 steps a day. All right, Consumer Quarterback Show, more expert contributor content. We're going to talk about the top 10 ways to get motivated according to BeliefNet.com. Stay with us. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com. All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, the Quarterback Show. Having a lot of fun in studio with you today. We got Jarek Robbins here in studio. He's a performance coach, author, keynote speaker, and also Chelsea Lamie, personal injury attorney, trial attorney here in Tampa Bay. And Chelsea, we're going to jump right into this content. You've got such a great backstory, and now a lot of what we talk about in the previous segments is about motivation. It's about desire. It's about passion. Do you mind sharing with us a little bit about what's brought you to this great person that you are here today?
Oh, well, that's very kind of you. Thank you, Brandon. Well, my law firm is based on a culture of compassion. I had try to have compassion for my clients. I try to have compassion for my staff members, my team members, and I try to have compassion for the community. And a lot of people will say, hey, where does that compassion come from? And for years, I didn't tell the truth. I said, oh, it's just, it's just something I've always had, very compassionate about people and doing good. The truth is, and it took me a while to sort of be able to stand in my truth, is that we had a really hard childhood. We had some good years and we had some bad years. And at some point, my family did become homeless. And so one of the things that I like doing now is going out and speaking in the community and talking about how it really took everything, losing everything, for me to really stand out on my own 2 feet and pull myself up from my bootstraps, as my almost 90-year-old grandfather likes to say. Hey, Grandpa. and really rebuild a life that was meaningful for me, that was positive, made a positive effect on my community, on my clients. So I'm sort of not your traditional personal injury attorney. Sometimes we have really bad raps. But at my office, our culture is compassion, and that compassion comes through all of my life experiences, everything from, losing everything and having nothing in my early teens into my early 20s, to my husband and I having a horrible car accident that left him disabled for the rest of his life. So we've been through some hard things, but you know what? There's other people who've been out there and who've been through worse. So I really try to look on the bright side, find the positives, and find ways to use what I've been through to connect with other people, and most importantly, to be a passionate advocate for my clients.
Yeah, absolutely. So personal injury, a lot of accidents happening in Tampa Bay in and around autos and different types of business related slip and falls. Chelsea, so you're helping people, and I love that story of passion and compassion. It's one of the greatest biblical stories as well is compassion and helping others, giving back and helping others that may be less fortunate.
Absolutely. It's just something that I've always been drawn to, and I don't think I probably would have had this outlook. My culture wouldn't be compassion at my personal injury law firm if I hadn't have been through the experiences I've been through. So I'm grateful. I'm honored that I was blessed with nothing for so long, and that I got to really see how most people have to deal, or many people have to deal day to day with lack of food, lack of water, lack of a shelter. And it really inspires me to live my life in a different way that's more meaningful and more connected to my community.
Yeah, and some of the studies that come out as well, they talk about how the wealth a lot of times will skip a generation due to the kids that are spoiled. Everything's given to them. They don't have that drive. They don't have that hunger. My story is somewhat similar. Small town and just always dad was the coach. I was the quarterback on the team, helping people. Has always been a passion of mine as well. My mom helped me with understanding the ability and the reason to give back and to help others. But I really think that internal compass is what drives people. And it's definitely evident in your business and getting to know you as well with your business. So
thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, absolutely. So personal injury law, there's a lot of stigmatisms, things in the industry about that. What is your key message to our listeners out there when it comes to this type of a strategy?
Sure. Well, I know a lot of your listeners are entrepreneurs, small business owners. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a small business owner. And I think, sometimes we get an eye roll when we talk about personal injury. Nobody likes lawyers until they need one. And I don't want anybody coming into my law office and having a frivolous, slip and fall. And the reality is that's generally not happening. It makes for great TV. It makes for, a great storyline on the paper or on the news shows at night. But for the most part, all of the people, or I know all the people who I represent, are good people. They're hardworking people. They're working for minimum wage, or they're barely squeaking out middle income type lifestyle. They just care about being able to work and take care of their families. And when somebody who is texting and driving, or drinking and driving, or doing something they shouldn't be doing instead of focusing on the road, we're driving these thousands of pounds, killer machines out there, and we're allowing our cell phones to be distractions, and we're causing accidents that are causing people to lose their jobs. I'm sure not many people out there have enough money in their savings if they miss work for a week or even a month to make it through. You can become homeless very quickly. It's a very easy, slippery slope to go down. So what I try to tell people is what my work is. It's not going out there. It's not filing frivolous lawsuits. Those things really aren't happening. And as a small business owner, you need to make sure you have the proper insurance. You need to train your employees to not use their cell phones while they're driving. And then you won't have to worry about somebody like me.
Yeah, right. And we did, on yesterday's show, we talked about the top reasons. We had Sean Yesner, bankruptcy attorney, in studio, and we were talking about the top reasons why people go bankrupt. And number one on the list was medical. I think it was 62% of the reasons for bankruptcy was people going, having medical issues. So we talk about driving. We talk about this pressure to succeed, the pressure, all of the different systems that are reaching out to us, the smartphones, the RSS feeds, the texting, tweeting world that we live in. And so when we think about personal injury, I want you thinking about Chelsea Lamy here, personal injury trial lawyer here in Tampa Bay, and she's going to help you with these types of issues, things that come up in your daily life, and keep this in mind. And remember, we want you to program our number in your phone because at some point something's going to happen. You're going to have that letter attached to your door. Your friend's going to get into an accident. There's so many different ways that we can help you with the show. That's what we set the show up about 4 years ago, to be your number one consumer advocate and help you win. So 813-917-1894. That's our consumer advocate hotline. Maybe you or someone you know is needing this type of activity or representation right now. Just pull out your smartphone, shoot us a quick text, personal injury, to 813-917-1894. You can also submit the email form at consumerqb.com. The emails come right to me. My promise to you is that I'm going to get back to you before my head hits the pillow. And I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We're in studio with Jarek Robbins. He's an author, performance coach, keynote speaker, as well as talking currently with Chelsea Lamy, personal injury trial attorney. And so what else are you seeing out there, Chelsea?
Oh, just lots of texting and driving, a lot of distractions, and you were just talking about that, right?
Yep.
We allow ourselves not to be present and not to be in the moment, and to allow all of these distractions to, we might think it's a minor fender bender. Well, minor fender benders can cause a lifetime of pain and injury.
Yeah.
People just don't realize that. So that's a big part of what I do every day at work.
Yeah, especially when we have the rain that comes after a period of 10 or 15 days without rain, that first layer of rain sitting on those roadways that have the oil and residue built up on them. So a lot of times people don't understand. You're supposed to have. I remember, when I was a younger adolescent, 16 years old, I got a nice Z28 Camaro T-top and all that LT1 Corvette engine, and I was, a very aggressive driver, and I went through the driver's ed class, whatever the class is called, many, many times, and I realized that wow, you're supposed to have 2 full seconds of time between the previous car. A lot of people are right on the back bumper, like it's going to get them there faster,
right.
And then, having minor fender benders and things of that nature. And I really, it hit home with me one time. My dad, my stepdad, Bruce, he was our football coach. He says, you're running fast, you're going fast through these neighborhoods, and you got a car sitting here. What would you do if a kid pulled out right in front of you? You couldn't stop. Change your life. It'd change everyone's life. You end up in jail. So, being a cautious driver out there is definitely something that you want to look at.
There's nothing you have to do or nowhere you have to be that is more precious than someone's love for their child.
That's right.
So when I drive, I'm always thinking, am I driving in a way that I can be able to lay my head down at night or talk to my higher power and say, I didn't do anything wrong. If something really did happen, right? I wasn't distracted. Wasn't on my cell phone. We all know accidents happen, but unfortunately, sometimes we're negligent. We do things we're not supposed to do, like the cell phones, the texting, the talking, changing the radio station, eating, smoking. There's a lot of dangerous things that we do when we should have 100% of our focus on the road. Yeah. And I just want to know in my own life that I'm never operating that deadly machine in a way that could take away someone's entire life, take away somebody's child, or injure someone, and their family loses so much because they lost their job because they weren't able to work.
Yeah, change your whole life, your whole perspective. Talk about a paradigm shift. Some of the best signs on the side of the roadway you see are those signs that say, drive as if your child lived here. You've seen those out there before.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we want you reaching out to Chelsea Lamy, personal injury trial attorney here in Tampa Bay, and we're going to talk more about that in the next segment. Talk about that. We're going to jump into the top 10 ways to get motivated, according to BeliefNet.com. Some pretty cool stuff on here. Some of it's going to be stuff you've heard of, but maybe some new stuff on here for you as well. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk more with Jarek Robbins as well as Chelsea Lamy, personal injury attorney here in Tampa Bay. And I want to give a big shout out to the Maids Cleaning Service, 24-hour, 100% satisfaction guaranteed by the Maids. They are referred for a reason. They are official cleaning partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. The Maids Cleaning Service, they do a great job cleaning our real estate properties, as well as shout out to Michael Vogt with Back In Health Massage, helping people with neck, back, shoulder, hip, and leg pain feel better. My massage therapist, Michael Vogt, Gun Highway, Del Mabry in Tampa, and it can help you as well relieve that stress stress, and spend some time on your body. And what else do you have in this world if you don't have your health? Back in Health Massage. So more from our expert contributors. You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Top 10 ways to get motivated. Coming up after this second side of the break here, BeliefNet.com, and also Jarek Robbins here in studio with Chelsea Lemie, personal injury trial lawyer. All right, stay with us. Don't touch that dial. Consumer Quarterback Show, ConsumerQB.com. Welcome back. Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP Realty. I'm a former USF football player. I played on the inaugural football team at the University of South Florida. Real excited about a lot of the growth happening in Tampa Bay. A lot of the football teams are experiencing some great success. And Quarterback Show here, we want to help you quarterback your transactions, helping you live a better life, health-related, all types of different law, consumer advocacy around credit and finance, estate planning, tax planning, talking about motivation today, ways to get motivated and to live a better life, the psychology of success, and helping you win in any marketplace is the goal of our show. Big shout out to Source One Solutions. They are our official security partner. Robert Hessel and his team with Source One Solutions utilize Honeywell technology to protect your home or office. Big shout out to Source One Solutions, the official security partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. Got a business growth seminar, digital marketing seminar, Friday, March 24th, 3 to 5:30 at the Hotel Zamora. Come out and learn how to beat your competition online. Learn more about digital marketing, supercharge your sales. And from 3 to 5:30, it's going to be great content delivered by Patrick Leask. He's an action coach here in Tampa Bay. As well as 5:30, we're going up to the rooftop, have a happy hour. 100-plus guests expected. Expert contributors of the Quarterback Show will be there at the Hotel Zamora. Come out and have a good evening. Enjoy some cocktails overlooking the Gulf of Mexico here in beautiful Tampa Bay. All right, so let's do it. Let's do it. The top 10 ways to get motivated according to BeliefNet.com. Chelsea, what's your number one guess here?
Maybe get a buddy, maybe somebody to help hold you accountable and to help keep you motivated. That's
it. That's on the list right here. Talk to someone who is where you want to be, and successful person who has been there, done that. So, definitely that's a great idea. Modeling, comes to mind as well. Jarek, right up your alley. Top 10 reasons.
Probably have a goal.
That's right.
It's probably going to be on the list somewhere there.
That's right. Have a goal. Read inspirational stories. Your own blog. Yeah, keep a journal,
Yep.
Something about that would be, that's number one on the list is keep a journal. So I think that would fall into there.
Yeah, write down a goal, write down what you're looking for, or write down what you're not happy about.
Right.
And just as much as focusing on where you want to go. The tricky part, most people will do more to avoid pain than they will gain pleasure. So, the concept of if you write down each day what pisses you off about your life, eventually it'll be so frustrating that you'll do something about it, hopefully.
Right.
And my thought is, we wrote about this in our book where it's stacking both pain and pleasure together and realizing, every block of pain is the equivalent of like maybe 4 or 5 blocks of pleasure. But
Right.
you want to weigh it in the right direction, because if you put too much pain and frustration inside of your mind, some people will break you your spirit will break you mentally.
Right.
And you'll give up and you'll walk away from it and just be down. For other people, though, if you think about it like a car race, which we talked about a long time ago on the show, the whole concept, Fast and Furious movies are coming out, Fast 8 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That concept, if you remember that original movie, they're driving these cars, and there's two things that fuel the car. There's gasoline,
Yep.
long, slow-burning fuel that keeps the car moving miles and miles and miles. And then there's that nitrous oxide, that NOS button, that when they hit it, it's like, they just blast off. I always use that the equivalent for younger people. If you remember those white arrows on the ground when you're playing Mario Kart, you drive over those things, your little cart goes flying. And so the equivalent of pain is like that nitrous oxide. Pain is something very potent. When you press the button of pain, it will burst you into action. And then pleasure, that the exciting goals, the things you want to work towards, that's kind of like the fuel, gasoline, the long-lasting burning fuel. So you need a, let's say, 10-gallon tank or 20-gallon tank of gasoline for every, let's say, 15-ounce can or 1-liter can of nitrous oxide.
Right.
So 1 liter of, let's say, pain with 20 gallons of pleasure. And if you mix that together properly, you'll have enough to keep you moving forward and compel you, pull you towards your goals at all time. But you also have that fuel that when you need it, you touch that pain and boom, you just explode into action.
Wow. Yeah, so it's exponential on the side of pain.
Absolutely.
Pain is going to push it harder. All right, top 10. So let's go. Chelsea, another second guess here?
I'm wondering if what I do for my team is on there. I do an incentive program where if we meet our goals, I take them out of the country for a 1-week vacation. So please tell me incentive program is on there.
Well, at number 9, it says reward yourself as much to getting enticing and doing something difficult. You get yourself a pleasurable out of doing it. Of course, you have long-term goals, which are business goals, back to school. So, hitting those goals. I love that idea. Talk about that a little bit more about how you implement that into your business.
Oh, sure. Well, it's just part of my culture. Like I said earlier, my culture is compassion, and you can't just be compassionate in your community and to your clients. You have to show compassion for your team. So I offer really generous benefits. I have a woman out right now on 6 weeks paid maternity leave. I have an office nanny, and we're a baby-friendly office 3 days a week, so staff can bring in their children in a separate area, and moms aren't separated and dads aren't separated from babies. And another thing that I do is when we meet our goals, and those goals are always to do the best we can for our clients. So when we meet a specific goal at the end of the year, I take everybody and a +1. So sometimes people take their mothers, their fathers, their children, or maybe their spouse or a friend, and we just get out of Dodge for about a week, and we have a really good time. It's all paid for by me and the firm. And it's just a reward to me, to my team members, my staff, for working really hard day in and day out for our clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. You created a really cool culture. I like that. I'm in the process of implementing these ESOP programs, the employment stock option programs. I always think that if you can reward with ownership in the company, wow, you're going to have truly motivated sales folks. You're going to have operations behind it, and I really love that idea. So, all right, let's go. Let's keep going with the momentum. Top 10 ways to get motivated according to Belief.net. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. We've got Jarek Robbins here in studio to my right, and to my left, we've got a personal injury attorney, Chelsea Lemie, as well. So, Jarek, back to you. Top 10.
Probably read great information or learn things that can
Absolutely.
help you or inspire you. So sometimes getting around other people who are doing way better.
Yeah.
They think in a different way. They show up in a different way. They talk about different stuff, and just being around it. One of my favorite programs we joined in this last year, my wife and I, there's a program called Jet Smarter. It's really cool.
Yep.
They offer basically access to private jets all over the world, and it's a one-time fee for the year, and it's unlimited flying,
Wow.
which is pretty wild.
That's
and they have
cool.
different levels, but the one we have is unlimited flying.
Yep.
So it's cool. You jump on a private jet. Normally that jet from, let's say, South Florida to New York City would cost $15,000 each direction.
Yeah.
And you can jump on paying, that amount for the year one time.
Wow.
But here's what's wild. When you hop on, there's a hodgepodge of people on board, some of them which are jet owners. And it's like, okay, so this person owns a $12 million jet they fly on. And it's like,
Wow.
well, why would they be part of this little club? And what's interesting is because for them, instead of having to pay the $15,000 each way,
Yeah.
they would just jump on for free because they paid the one-time yearly fee. Now they get to go back and forth. But
Love
here's
it.
what's wild. We paid the same fee. We get to sit next to them, and I get 2.5 hours to chat with them.
Yeah.
Now, being around someone who has their own jet, and I'm chatting with them and saying, what's life like? What are you focused on in your business?
Yeah.
What are you guys working on? Sometimes I can offer help and assistance to help their team or organization perform better. But a lot of times, I get to learn from them. I think one of my favorite people I sat next to, which would inspire and motivate, but he motivated me,
Yep.
was a gentleman. His name was Curtis. He wrote the textbook on spinal surgery.
Wow.
And he used to be the gentleman head of the program at Penn. And I was like, wow, I get to sit next to this guy for 4.5 hours on a flight from Fort Lauderdale to Vegas.
Yeah.
And we chatted the whole time. And one of his students, who's an active spinal surgeon, sitting next to him, and they were headed to go have some fun.
Yep.
And we got to chat the whole time. I got to learn about how they got into it and what inspired them, how they became the head of the program, what it was like leading a team and organization like that. And you get to learn so much things that are motivating or inspiring by being around other people who are just playing in a whole different space.
That's
and,
right.
They've gotten the ability to earn their way there or experience that. And it's neat to learn from other people
Yeah.
how to go about it in a way that might elevate your game as well.
That's right. Iron sharpens iron. You're going to get better. You want to play tennis against that person that's better. I love that idea, and sounds like a great networking opportunity inside of the Jets. So that's awesome. Chelsea, back to you.
I'm thinking let's completely flip it around. What if we go to people who aren't doing as well as we're doing, right? I know that I find a lot of motivation when I spend time mentoring or when I spend time giving of my time or my gifts to other people. That really motivates me. It makes me want to do better so I can continue to help the next person up behind me.
Yeah, it's interesting. It on the list here, something under that, it says number 5, remember why you started. So that was even brought up earlier in the show is, why you started it, why you're doing that. So, attack in sections, attack it in sections, reward yourself, start your own blog, your own radio, TV show. We have a book that teaches people how to do that on Amazon. Become the MVP in your industry by surfing the radio waves. Read inspirational stories, listen to motivational speeches. That's all available on YouTube. Talk to someone who is where you want to be. Jarek, you just talked about that. Remember why you started. Create a motivational playlist. Get into the community. Make a vision board. And keep a journal. So that's rounding out the top 10. Great content there from Anthony, our producer today. And I want to thank Jarek Robbins for coming in the studio. Thanks so much for all you do, being a force for good. Liveitbook.com is the website. Learn it, live it, give it. Liveitbook.com. Chelsea Lemie, thanks so much for coming in. Personal injury attorney, partner on our show, helping people with these types of situations. Anytime that comes up, please reach out to our hotline, 917-1894. Let us know how we can help you. We would love to help you with that. Got the Business Growth Seminar coming up on the 24th. Please reach out if you'd like a free ticket to that event as well. And consumerqb.com is our website. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Something as simple as maybe packing up leftover food you may have in your pantry, your fridge, carrying it with you to and from your commute to work, handing it to that person you see in need. Maybe even turn around to a serviceman or woman, a first responder, police officer, buying their lunch. Pay it forward. Be a force for good in the community. And we know you will. As a listener of the Consumer Quarterback Show, we appreciate you. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.